In the world of the Invincible comic book series and its animated adaptation, the main character is a member of the Viltrumite species. Sharing similarities to other aliens in superhero comic books, these beings possess powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. While this might evoke images of a certain alien race from DC Comics, the Viltrumites are far from being heroic for the most part. A warrior species dedicated to conquest, the Viltrumites in Invincible stop at nothing to get what they feel is theirs. This is reflected in their culture, with members of the species raised to care little about others. As a result, Mark Grayson's human upbringing makes him quite different from the full-blooded Viltrumites, showcasing the divide between him and his people. The Viltrumites believe in survival of the fittest. As their name suggests, the Viltrumite species hailed from the planet Viltrum. The exact details of the species' history before it became an intergalactic empire are unknown, but it is known that they once were closer to humans in their biology. Throughout history, however, they evolved into a far hardier race, developing long lifespans and almost godlike physical abilities. Under the rulership of Argal, they entered an era of seeming peace and technological bliss, having developed the means to eradicate famine, hunger, and other pestilences. This didn't last, however, with a Viltrumite named Thaddeus killing Argal. From then on, the species was at war with itself, with many seeking to eliminate the weakest of their ranks. The resulting civil saw over half of the 7 billion Viltrumites killed off in a gruesome conflict called the Great Purge. The survivors saw themselves as the rightful rulers of the galaxy, and they sought to expand their ranks and reach through the most violent means possible. On every planet they ventured to, they offered to cure all societal ills in exchange for total loyalty. Many worlds acquiesced, but in the case of others who refused to surrender to the invading Viltrumites, they were either forcibly conquered or had their planets outright destroyed by them. An example was the Unopan species, whose home planet was destroyed. In response, they executed a breeding program to replenish their numbers and create powerful warriors, such as Alan the Alien, to combat the strength of the Viltrumites. Despite their strengths and numbers, the resources of the Viltrumite Empire were quickly used up through their methods of conquest. Thus, a more subtle method requiring only one Viltrumite per planet was instigated. This plan involved a single Viltrumite, one trusted by the military, who would infiltrate a planet and take it down from within, paving the way for the species to come in and take over with ease. Such was the case with Nolan Grayson, aka Omni-Man, who lived as a married husband and father before revealing his true colors. Viltrumites look down on the weak. As noted, most of those within the Viltrumite Empire see themselves as superior to all other species, especially humans. This arrogance and single-minded praise of strength aren't limited to other species, however, as it's something that's instilled even in their children. Viltrumite youth are raised to be steadfast and obedient to the point that they never question the Empire's actions. Following along with the Viltrumite Empire's plan for conquest and being seen as a strong warrior is the ultimate source of pride for the species. On the other hand, if one of their young were to fall in battle, a Viltrumite parent would have no sympathy or pity for them. Instead, they will see their child as weak and deserving of their fate. Despite their reverence for unyielding loyalty, Viltrumites will forgive certain members if they have proven worthy in the past. Redemption for a Viltrumite involves rededicating themselves to the Viltrumite cause without question. However, they will be executed if they refuse to try to right their wrongs. This execution will follow their being completely healed, as Viltrumites feel that, even in a traitorous death, members of their species should die honorably. Interspecies breeding bolsters the Viltrumite Empire. To expand their ranks, the Viltrumites did more than conquer other planets through military might. They also bred with the natives of the planets they visited, resulting in various Viltrumite hybrids. Even when it came to matters of reproduction, however, the species still held a supremacist and elitist mentality. Defective Viltrumite hybrids were looked down upon, so interspecies breeding was only allowed between Viltrumites and genetically similar creatures. The resulting hybrids were nearly as powerful as full-blooded Viltrumites, and if they could hold their own against a pure Viltrumite, they were allowed to be treated as a member of the Empire. Humans are genetically close to Viltrumites, so Nolan chose to marry and have a child with one. This child, Mark Grayson, is shown to be nearly, if not just as powerful as pure members of the Viltrumite species. A caveat, however, was that he didn't develop his powers until he was nearly an adult. Nolan later went to the planet Thraxa, whose people were a species of insectoid aliens. Their incredibly fast lifespans were only about 9 months long. Nolan took a new wife and sired a son named Oliver Grayson. This boy aged very fast, initially showcasing more of his mother's genetics despite appearing mostly human. Eventually, his Viltrumite genes kicked in, making him far more robust. Given their lifespans, the Thraxans would most certainly be deemed an inferior and incompatible species by the Viltrumite Empire. Still, Nolan loved his sons and fought with them against the Viltrumites. Viltrumite abilities. The species' great strength is the most obvious power attributed to Viltrumite physiology. Even aged Viltrumites can easily lift several tons, meaning they can physically beat most other species with the same lack of challenge. Speaking of which, Viltrumites age incredibly slowly, and this aging process decreases the older they get. Even in the case of Viltrumites who look outright wizened, they're still physically robust individuals who could demolish opponents who are centuries their junior. Adding to these attributes are enhanced healing factors that counteract injuries and hardy physical durability that protects them from harm. Their stamina and senses are at the same level, allowing them to react and comprehend things quickly. The same is the case with their physical speed, with Viltrumites being able to move and fly so fast that they break the sound barrier. This is why the solo power of Omni-Man took down the Guardians of the Globe. If these abilities weren't enough, the species is highly adaptive to pain and injury. Thus, they can become even stronger if pushed to the brink of death, giving them arguably limitless physical potential. This is similar to an ability held by the Scions of Dragon Ball Z, who will recharge with more strength when they're nearly at death's door. Even with these strengths, Viltrumites can be overcome through a few means. The most obvious thing is to pummel them with equal or greater physical strength, though beings with such high power levels aren't exactly common. Nolan discovered a species of alien beasts who were savage and powerful enough to cause serious harm to Viltrumites with their claws, making them a valuable weapon in the collation of planets' war against the Viltrumites. High-pitched frequencies are a Viltrumite weakness due to a sensitive inner ear required for the advanced balance needed to fly. Intense solar energy can weaken their incredible healing factor, as Invincible and Thrag learned during their final battle in the Heart of the Sun. Unlike DC's Kryptonians, including Superman, they lack an outright tangible kryptonite as a weakness. This means that the species isn't invincible despite the title character's name. Thus, the Viltrumite Empire is a force that few can hope to stand against. That's it for this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more fascinating insights into your favorite shows. Don't forget to share your thoughts on the Viltrumite culture in the comments below. Your feedback is important to us. Until next time, and stay geek.